Hello, 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 good people. Welcome. Appreciate all of you guys that are already in the chat. I don't even know how to introduce this show. I mean, it is Terrible Towel, but SteelTable is something different. So I will just say this. Welcome to the latest episode of Terrible Towel Tuesday. However, it is special edition. It is the SteelTable. And for those of you guys that don't know what that means, it's simple play on words. Round table discussion. Steelers, SteelTable. I mean, come on. I told y'all I used to, I'm good with the metaphor. But welcome, man. Got my brother Kenyon here with me. Not sure if Tony will be able to make it. If he does, great. If he doesn't, he always says we do a great job. So he's always here in spirit. But basically, man, all we're going to talk about, I really didn't have any main topics. I think what we'll just hit on is kind of our expectations going into week one. I don't know if I want to do, we could do season expectations, but I think Kenyon is the same way as me. Is we don't know what this team is, man. Let's get 3 games or so in, and that is still kind of early for me, but at least at that point we can say, all right, I think this is what we're going to probably be. So I think today I'm going to stick more so on what is my biggest concern. That's the title I put in there. What is the biggest concern going into week one? You see who's in the thumbnail, so that should give you an idea where I'm going. And anything else we might come up with during the course of this hour, we'll take some of the stuff that you guys have in the chat. But before we get going, Kenya, let me real quick just say hello to some of the early commenters. We got Lagoon Tours Bahamas in here. Man, what do you want me to call you? I've been meaning to ask you that because it's Lagoon Tours Bahamas. Maybe I'll just call you LTB or something short.
You know what I'm saying?
But you tell me. But welcome. We appreciate you coming through. Hello, Miss Lanisha. Lanisha is here like always. Faithful watcher. It's going to get to a point where I'm going to stop calling y'all out as female listeners. I think we all know that. But we still want to give you guys a special hello. So, hello, Lanisha. And here's another one, The Real Missy. Hello, The Real Missy. Appreciate you coming through as well. Make sure everyone says hello to the lovely ladies. Charlie Brown, Ron Simpson Gaming. That's my guy right there, man. I've said it before, but anything I do, he's there to watch it. I do not believe he's a Steelers fan. He's just a follower of mine, man, and I appreciate him. If I do a stream, if I post a video, he's there. So I appreciate you, Ron, as well. Mark Malone, The Real Deal. Boss Una. My man, Brent Fox. Who else we got up in here? Daredevil, my brother White Diggy in the building. Hello, Sade. We ain't seen Sade in a while. Hello, Miss Lady. Appreciate you coming through. Thank you for coming by tonight. Make sure you all say hello to her as well. Lydell Dorsey. Joshua Shields, JJ Walker, Debbie. The lady of the Steel Nation, yes. Whatever you want to call it. What's up, Debbie? What's going on? You know what? Somebody mentioned in the chat last week that no ladies on the show, and you know what? Maybe I dropped the ball on that. I didn't even reach out to you guys as far as bringing y'all on tonight. So if y'all did want to come on, or if y'all want to do a show very soon, like upcoming, please let me know. Y'all usually do a great job doing that. And just so the chat knows, they are so organized. They usually chop it up for weeks before they even appear. So as much as you guys probably wanted to see them, they probably wouldn't have came tonight anyway unless they had already pre-prepared. So, but I want to put that invitation out there because I think the chat want to see y'all sooner than later. But all right, man, Sippy Boy, we'll stop it right there. And Kenyon, I guess the first thing we could talk about, which is a non-issue now, but let's play the game. What was your initial thoughts yesterday when we thought that Mason Rudolph was actually the number 2 quarterback and Kenny Pickett was listed as the number 3? Did you have any initial thoughts that you think maybe it was just formality, clinical error, like Tomlin said, or what was your initial thoughts on that?
First, before I get into that, I want to tell Debbie she is the queen of the 6 rings. She knows what I'm talking about. My initial thought was that somebody got some good weed over there. I don't want to say that on TV, that they would put that out there. But I knew it was a typo. It had to be a typo because I was like, "There's no way you're putting, that Mason would be 2." And, basically, you saw how the order fell after the first preseason game, and you kind of knew that Kenny would be there. I mean, the better discussion would have been is, could Kenny overtake Trubisky, which, I personally think they played about even, but I knew they would go with the veteran because he really didn't play bad, and you can't fault somebody that doesn't play bad. When they don't play bad, you can't have a legitimate, excuse to take them out.
Yeah.
So that was my initial thoughts. I had nothing else. There was nothing else, I guess more surprising would be other things in the depth chart. I guess if we get into that later then, but as far as that goes, nah.
Me neither. I mean, we already know how each other felt, but just so the fans know, I hate calling y'all fans. Y'all know me. I hate that. So I didn't mean to say the fans, but the viewers, the family. I didn't think nothing of it either. I thought, okay, for 2 seconds, if they did go with him as a number 2, Kenyon remembers I sent him and Tony a text, was like, huh? Really? But then my mind went to, maybe it's just a formality thing. Like, not to say that he wouldn't be the next man up if something happened. The biggest concern would have been at that point, though, had he stayed at number 3, then I would have been talking about, is he inactive this week? And that's where the question would have came in. If he would have remained the number 3, like, whoa, so they're not even going to dress him, or they're going to dress 3. But like Kenyon said, definitely not surprised that Trubisky is going to be the start. We've been saying that. It only makes sense. I know Steeler Nation, y'all probably as excited as the rest of us. Wow, Kenny actually played well. I want to see him. But I would rather them be in this beautiful situation that they're in. You got a veteran who hasn't looked half bad. Don't worry about his past. He's played great, in my opinion, in the preseason. And I say great because it's way more than I expected.
Yeah.
That throw he made to Deontay Johnson down the side, that right there, I was like, okay, all right, Mitch can make some throws. I knew he was mobile. I knew he could play a little bit when he was at Chicago. But that throw right there, I don't think most people understand what that did to me. It's like, oh, he can do that. Okay. He didn't lose the job.
Yeah.
So why not bring him along? It's way easier to transition from him to Kenny than to put Kenny out there and he struggles. Then you gonna pull him? So I'm cool with that. I know some of y'all really are not a fan. I know some people are saying, hey, if he's ready, why let him wait? But that's exactly why you just bring him on slowly. You got to remember, I even said it for you guys who watched my Madden video. This is the AFC champions. This ain't the same old bungles, as Steeler fans like to call them. No, they ain't the same old Bengals, bro. That's a hostile environment. The offensive line is still in question. Let the veteran go out there and handle that. You know what I mean? And like I said, the man has played decent. You can't. I got Chicago last couple of years, Trubisky, Matt Nagy, Trubisky. I don't have that in my mind. I'm looking at Matt Canada's Trubisky, and let's see what he do. So, you got any thoughts, Kenyon, about what, I don't know if you saw it or not, you probably did, but Ben Roethlisberger kind of echoing that, saying that he thinks Trubisky should start. Not that Kenny has done anything bad, but basically Mitch didn't lose the job, so you got to go with the veteran.
I don't have any. Ben is, now that he's gone, he'll probably be more opinionated. I know he has a podcast and he'll probably start talking about more Steeler football, but Mitch Trubisky, my perspective on him is a little bit different just because I know somebody that's a diehard Bears fan. So I know his frustration with Mitch Trubisky when they drafted him, traded up to get him, if you recall.
Wow. Why did
they traded up to get him. And
that was dumb. I'm sorry.
Well, that's what he says. So it's just his frustration with Mitch is, and I think it's part of it is the organization who failed Mitch. But I always tell people, you can't let everybody skate if they're in there playing the game. Also, they have to take some of that blame pot. They have to take some of those hits. So there are moments where Mitch played good, and there are moments where he played bad. And so, but in this preseason, while he's been on the Steelers, he's played well. And those people who want Kenny Pickett, I for one told Sim that I thought Kenny could win the job. But Kenny didn't. Kenny has a legit argument that he's just young, but he has a legit argument because to me, when he makes the throw in the preseason game to Freiermuth down the seam, to me I was like, I ain't seen Mitch do that, and Kenny's doing that with no problem.
Pressure in his face too.
Right. So to me, I look at it like you have a 1-1A situation, and I'm cool with it. I'm cool with Mitch being a quarterback because I think the defense can sustain you. And I think when you have an offensive line that is essentially growing and not a finished product, you need somebody more because they're going to have to do a lot of rollouts to get him away from the deficiencies of some of our offensive linemen. You know what I'm saying? Specifically left tackle and left guard because we don't know. And they have been porous. And I'm talking about all three guys in both positions in the preseason. But I'm not out on them. I just think that more disappointed in them. Not worried, just more disappointed and just really want to see what they do and this upcoming week. Because as you said, this ain't the Bungles. They just been to the Super Bowl. They're hungry. Joe Burrow is that guy, and you're gonna have to beat them. And but I think that all things considered, I would rather have Mitch going into that situation for his first game, and you don't know how it's gonna play out. But I would anticipate that we would see Kenny Pickett. Now, in a perfect world, I hope I would never see Kenny Pickett for the rest of this year, and because that's how good we are, Mitch has played that well. But I anticipate that we'll see Kenny Pickett at some point. I mean, most analysts are saying Kenny Pickett is the offensive rookie of the year. I'm like, he's not even starting.
Yeah,
but
come on, man.
It's like, come on. But they're projecting that he could. So, I'm with you. I think that it's one of those situations, but I'm not down on Mitch. I'm just kind of like, not even, I'm just kind of like, okay, let's see what you do.
Yeah.
To me, this is your last shot. We'll see what happens. And you just, as I called him before the season, and Sim knows, I called him the bridge. He's still the bridge because he's only saving that spot for when they feel Kenny Pickett is ready. And Mitch is in a great situation. Great weapons. Great, weapons on the outside. Great running back. A good second back that I like. Got lucky and got Pickens, who's going to be a stud, a lotto, as we like to call him. And the thing that's even more interesting that we haven't even seen Calvin Austin. So wait till he gets, and they might take it slow with him, but wait till he gets back. If he gets back and he's, he was lighting it up in practice. So just imagine when he finally get him in there. So I'm with you. I'm just kind of having a wait and see approach. I'm not, I don't have anybody this year that you're gonna see me clowning. I don't have no 58, no 48s, and I don't have nobody like that this year. I'm kind of just.
We almost did.
We almost did though.
53.
Right. I was about to let him have it, but we don't have that, so I'm gonna just, I'm in a weird way. It's a weird feeling. Last year I had a feeling that we would struggle at points. This year I don't really have that feeling. I think we'll struggle, but I'm kind of cool with the struggle. If you know what I mean, it's kind of like I'm kind of cool with it because maybe it'll help you grow. And so I'm with Mitch. We'll see what happens on Sunday. You know what I mean? And as long as you don't turn the ball over, Mike Thomas said in his presser today, as long as you don't turn the ball over, you turn the ball over, you make it easy for them. And if anybody watched college football this yesterday and the day before, turnovers are very important. Yes, and for those who think special teams aren't important, I would direct you to the Florida State LSU game. If special teams is not important, I would direct you to that game because LSU lost the game because of special teams. So,
absolutely.
So that's all I got to say about that.
donation time, man. Round of applause to Jameer Sanders. Appreciate that. Okay, so he must be Team Mitch. So he says, stop. Mitch, the guy. He won the battle versus Kenny. He faced number ones. Kenny didn't. In training camp, wasn't even close. Money Mitch is ready. Captain Mitch. I mean, listen, everyone's viewpoint is different. I would probably say this. I don't think there was a clear-cut winner. I think it's, and again, I'm not saying this because I said it or Kenyon said it. I think Ben Roethlisberger said it. My man Pat McAfee said it. It was Kenny's job, Mitch's job to lose. He didn't lose the job. I don't think you can outright say one of them played way better than the other. You do acknowledge what Kenyon said. There was some moments that you look at Kenny and was like, oh. I mean, even some of his incompletions on the run, on the money. But then, like I said, you look at that last game, man, and we could use Freiermuth in his example too. That throw to Freiermuth down the middle with the linebacker trailing, throwing it to the backside. That throw to Deontay. I mean, they both had good moments. Kenny is just the new toy. We all want to see that. He's a baller. You can see he's a baller. He has I know people keep calling him a Pitt guy. He's not a Pitt guy. He went to Pitt. He's from Jersey. Right. But he does have that Steeler mentality. He's a baller. We all ready to see him. But at the end of the day, I wouldn't go that far to say that, oh, Mitch just overshadowed him. No, he didn't. Mitch played well. And I don't think nobody is rooting against him. But you want to be mindful of the fact that Kenyon already told you earlier here in the show. Mitch Trubisky is the bridge. Like, Kenny Pickett is the future. So, I mean, we can root for Mitch all we want. He's not the long-term guy. I want him to do great because I think, if he does great, he gets paid. He gets another opportunity because, they're not going to keep him long-term. And he's on our team. Why not want him to do good? But I definitely wouldn't say it was a domination over Kenny, and Kenny did play against some ones. I mean, all the preseason was up and down with the ones and the twos. But I don't know. I mean, I'm not trying to defend it. I'm just saying I don't know if you can outright say that.
I'm glad you took the PG version. Let me answer Jamar. Right. All this Mitch was ahead of him by a lot. No, he wasn't, because if he was, some of the throws that Kenny Pickett threw, Mitch can't make those throws. Jamar, it's just real talk. He threw a back shoulder. He threw a back shoulder to Pickens on the sideline. Mitch is not making that throw. He's not. Kenny has a little bit more tools than Mitch. Mitch has better legs. I would say Kenny has better anticipation and better placement of the ball. Not that he has a big arm, but he has better arm placement, better accuracy in certain situations than Mitch does. Mitch doesn't have that. Mitch can't make that throw down the seam like that. He's not doing that off anticipation. He's not sitting in the pocket waiting for the rest to hit him and then make another throw to Freiermuth. He's not doing all that stuff. That's Kenny Pickett's. He did that at Pitt. That's what he does. He just brought it to the NFL. And I'm actually surprised that it translated to the league in games, because me and Sim scouted him. And there were times you would say, okay, and we were kind of iffy, but he's very much shown that as a player in the preseason. Playing with the ones is irrelevant because there are certain teams that didn't play their ones. So Mitch was out there with twos in certain games, some preseason games. So it wasn't it's close. And it's really, to be honest with you, it's by the middle of the year or the end of the year, and let's just say he stays and they go to camp. Kenny Pickett will win the job.
Yeah. Yeah, he wins.
That's real talk. So I don't agree with that. So, but that's how I feel about it.
Yeah, and again, like I said, we all perceive things differently, but there's no way you see it that clear cut. Like, nah, no way. They both played great. Man, Mason Rudolph messed around and played good. We got the best thing that we could wish for in preseason. They all played. So, Yeah, I don't know. That's all I got on that. Trying to think if there's any other side news before we get into the depth chart. Anything else I'm missing? Tomlin didn't say much in his presser. You know, the normal stuff.
Yeah.
Yeah, let's talk about the depth chart a little bit. And I'll pull it up. And we got a donation. Hold on really quick. My man Carmichael the Guru. Round of applause. Looks like my man Guru is agreeing with Kenyon. He says, Kenny anticipation is crazy with accuracy and the throw on the run. Yeah, there was some throws on the run that was like, whoa. It says, only a matter of time. I've been driving Kenny bandwagon, and he led his group no matter what team he ran. Yeah, man. I mean, I'm shocked. Honestly.
Yes.
I'm going to make a bold statement here. And some of y'all are probably going to be like, oh, you crazy. And considering where myself, Kenyon, Destiny, and Debbie were draft night, I'm almost willing to say that the Steelers didn't make the wrong decision based off of how he's played.
Yeah.
I'm still big on Malik, but
I am too.
Remember, and we probably still feel this way, I just felt like at the time, from what I saw on film, that Malik had a higher ceiling in terms of could he become elite with feet and arm. Right? That was my only difference between him and Kenny Pickett. I clearly saw that Kenny Pickett was the best pro-ready, yada, 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 more accurate at times, even though neither one of them were extremely accurate, but Kenny Pickett was pretty accurate in college. And that was my only thing, like, no, they're both there. Go with the guy that could be. This is going to sound blasphemous to Ravens fans, but I think everybody understands where I'm going with it. Go with the guy that might be a even better Lamar as far as dual threat. That's what I was seeing. Like, yo, this dude's arm is crazy. If he gets a little accuracy, he can throw the deep ball. By the way, Lamar has gotten better each year.
Yeah.
I'm thinking go with him. Look at your division. Go with a guy like that. Let's throw the threat right back at them. But after seeing how Kenny has handled himself, and you know what, Kenyon, I'm not going to say he's as good. So nobody take what I'm about to say the wrong way. But the dude's composure reminds me of Herbert. Like, that's the one thing, outside of the fact that I think Justin Herbert is one of my favorite young quarterbacks by far right now. But one thing I like about him too is his attitude. That dude face don't change, man. That dude don't never look rattled. He look like he's calm. He's, and I'm seeing a little bit of that in Kenny Pickett. That's attractive. Kenny don't look like the lights are too big. People gonna say, oh, it's preseason, but no, that matters. Again, this dude was in a quarterback competition. He's a draft pick. He's the guy that nobody thought would go before Malik Willis. So he knew the target was on him, and he performed. So at the moment, I'm going to say the Steelers didn't miss. I think they might have picked the right guy, even though I still think Malik has a high ceiling. At this point, he's going to have to prove it to me more so than Kenny has to prove it.
Yeah, I would say Kenny Comp is. I agree with YD. I said the same thing. He's more Joe Burrow. I mean, look, Justin Herbert is blessed physically with a gun that you don't really see that a lot. You know what I mean? And what he has, I think Burrow and Kenny Pickett are apt comparisons. But I'm with Sim. We were on Malik Willis, and I guess my counterpoint. I've had time to think about it. My counterpoint would be this. When the draft came up, they had already signed Mitch Trubisky. And in my mind, I'm saying to myself, would they draft another quarterback similar to Mitch Trubisky to run that offense? Because we always said that the perfect offense was a running quarterback that could scramble, do that stuff when he needed that in Canada's system. Malik Willis would have been the perfect pick. Now, if you don't have Mitch Trubisky, yes, I can see Pittsburgh focusing in on Malik. Now that you have Mitch, I guess their mindset could be, we got a guy that can move. We can move him around. Do what we need to do, run our offense. Draft the best quarterback available in our eyes that can run our system, we may not have to play him. I think you do anticipate that it would translate to the league, and those traits would be great. I do believe this: if the offensive line was studly, if we had like A+ offensive line, I could see Tomlin saying, "Yeah, I can start Kenny Pickett because I can protect that kid."
Yep.
Now, just you don't have that. You need this guy until you fix those. Let that offensive line grow, or you get somebody in there where you finally get a complete offensive line the way that you want it, or the way that most Steelers fans want it. You know what I mean? But as I've said, as Simmons said, that offensive line is a process. So I'm not going to lose it. I'm not going to lose my mind on the offensive line because you can't fix everything in the offseason. If you have a hole, new GM, new situation. You know what I mean? So, and I'm giving Omar, Khan his props because he's making moves.
Yes, sir.
But what I'm saying is that's a process. And you can't fix your offensive line by saying, let's get this first round guy. That doesn't mean anything because offensive line first rounders are blessed every year. The Raiders just cut one. You know what I mean? That's a tricky slate. Any pick in the first round. You have to get the guy that best fits. And I think that I agree that I'm just saying, I'm playing devil's advocate with you, Sam, that I just think that Mr. Trubisky, at the time they were looking at it, that would give them pause to not take a Malik Willis. I agree with you. I think Malik Willis is going to be a stud. So I think he's going to be on Lamar. Look, he's not as fast as Lamar. He doesn't have sudden speed like that. Yeah. But he's kind of like a smaller version of Steve McNair in a lot of ways. You really think about it. He's like a smaller version of him. He's not as big as Steve was. He might be a little bit quicker, a little bit faster, but that same type of build. You know what I mean? Hard to tackle, hard to do whatever. And he does have accuracy issues. And he does have things that, and you saw it in preseason, that he does that were flaws when we scouted him. Holds on to the ball a little bit too long. Always tries to make the home run play. And you can't really live like that in the NFL because, that linebacker is running a 4.5 like you. So, yeah, I mean, that's the only thing I would say to that, man. I'm with you on the whole thing. I just think that might have been a smart move. It is a smart move by Pittsburgh so far. Yes.
Seems like it. Let's see. We can get to the depth chart. I did see some of you guys saying when I said that they didn't miss on Pickett, y'all said, did we miss on number 53? And y'all have named him appropriately. He has not earned his name back. They did. I mean, we can say that in a very short answer. They did. It was a project that they took at the third round. A guy that played limited center, not the normal stature of a center that little less than Pouncey, because Pouncey wasn't the biggest center either. But they kind of went with that mold, but they just didn't see it. And you take that guy and you make him your starting center. That was a miss. And maybe we're gonna say that they felt like Freiermuth and Najee were more important at the time, and they could, come back and get a center later. That's really the only argument I can make because, Humphrey was there. I think even one of the other centers might have been there in the first round if they didn't want to take Najee. But that's why you call it a draft, man. You're not going to hit on all of them. You're not always going to hit. But, yeah, I think I think they just might as well own up to the fact that, yeah, they missed. They swung and they missed. So,
yeah. I don't want to do that. I don't want to say this. You know what I mean? You got to, I gave him a chance. I gave a pimp named Slickback Green chances. You know what I mean? I gave him a shot. You know what I mean? But he's a pimp named Slickback. You know what I'm saying? The first picture should have told you. You know what I mean? Tony was saying it. Me and Sim were trying to defend him. We can't defend a pimp named Slickback Green. You know what I'm saying? You just can't do it. So, yeah, he can't play center. He can't really play guard. They missed. You know what I mean? You can make is his miss bigger than I guess, because really the discussion is once we get to the depth chart. Because there's another discussion if you want to talk about what they missed on. You can just admit they missed, and I think they know that. and they'll probably address that in free agency next year and in the draft. But I can't expect anything from him no more. I'm not mad at him. You know what I mean? Because I wasn't expecting him to be all pro. I guess the expectations go up when he starts. But, as Sim pointed out very early, when he's getting bull rushed, when he doesn't have the strength, it's just like at some point it disrupts the whole offense. And, I wish him the best. I wish the pimp named Slipback Green the best. But, that's all I got on him.
That's the best thing he did is take that photo with them honeys. That seems like it's the best thing, the only thing he's good at. But yeah, hey man, I hate to dog you, Kendrick, but it is what it is. I'm not gonna call you a bum because I don't do that to professional athletes. But bro, you got to get in that weight room or something, man. It's just wow, yeah. Well. Sorry, man. Let's look at this depth chart here, guys. I put it up on the screen so some of you guys can see. I don't know how big or small it looks to you guys, but we'll do it in this order. And the way they have it listed, we'll go with receiver and then on down. Deontay Johnson, I don't think that's a surprise. Now, what is interesting, Kenyon, I don't know if I should read into this. You guys know that Deontay Johnson is the ex-receiver.
Right.
But look who's behind him. Is that literally the second X, or is he just second team? Because when you look further down, come down here, Chase Claypool, we know is going to be the big slot. There's Steven Sims, who is probably going to be Calvin Austin.
You're right.
What happened? Oh, let me go back. And then you have George Pickens, who is the Z, and Miles Boykin. That matches up. So it makes me wonder, are they considering Gunnar Olszewski an X? I don't know.
Well, I think in terms of depth, that's what you're saying.
Yeah.
But I guess essentially they're interchangeable. Because I guess Pickens can move and play Deontay's position.
And he did in preseason.
And he did, right. And Claypool can move and play Deontay's position, and Claypool can move and play Pickens' position because he did it before. Yep. So I guess essentially what you're saying is Gunnar is right now, we'll say he's the fourth receiver, because if you remember the preseason, he comes in the game before Boykin.
Yep, absolutely.
You know what I mean? He's in the game before. So I would say, which is to me, and people in the chat, you can comment on this. Gunnar, to me, has been a pleasant surprise.
Yeah, he has, man.
He's played very well in the preseason, and I know he's kind of slated to be a kickoff and punt returner, but he can do more than that. And I think the Steelers found that out. I think we've been finding that out, and that's like a low key great move. And but yeah, I would say he's the fourth receiver. I would say Gunnar is fourth, Boykin is 5, Steven Sims would be 6, right? Because that would be Calvin Austin if Calvin Austin was healthy.
Yeah.
Yeah. So okay.
And it definitely will be interesting to see who gets moved when Austin comes back off of IR. It probably would be Sims, but we'll see. I mean, who knows, man? Matt Canada, I get the idea that they're going to use a lot of these guys. So it's going to come down to what guys we see outside of Deontay, Claypool, and Pickens. Who do we see a lot of? Are we going to see a lot of Gunnar? Are we going to see a lot of Boykin? Or a lot of Sims? And whichever guy you don't see as much is probably the guy who's going to end up either released or, cut and re-signed on the practice squad. So we shall see. Well, one of the weaker spots here, as it seems, left tackle. Dan Moore Jr. is the left tackle. They brought Trent Scott back. Put him on the practice squad, I believe, and then they re-signed him to the 53. I don't feel good about this position, I'm going to be honest. For some reason, man, it seems like Dan Moore, I know it's preseason, I'm not going to go crazy yet. It's just an observation. Seems like he regressed a little bit. last year he was having some decent games. There was moments where we all felt like, hey man, this dude is playing better than his 4th round selection. He also had good, decent showings against some quality competition, premier pass rushers. But all of a sudden, man, just rewatching just one of the games. I rewatched the Detroit game a couple times. Dan Moore is an issue. There's a real serious problem at left tackle. I do not believe Trent Scott is much better than that. So this is one of my concerns, definitely heading into week 1 or just the season in general. Because at left tackle, who do you replace him with at this point of the season? So then we have Kevin Dotson and Kendrick Green. Kevin Dotson may have played a little bit better than Kendrick Green, but I'm going to be honest with y'all. Dotson ain't really showing me much either to where I'm confident in him. I don't know what you think, Kenyon, but I'm pretty sure I do know what you think, but he's not the guy that we talked about 2 years ago saying, hey man, this dude might end up being yada, yada, yada.
Right.
He ain't showing that.
Yeah, we gave him a little bit too much. We gave his trailer too much hype. Like he had to see it, and he hasn't really produced the way that I would think. Some people say it's injury, but I'm like, yeah, but he's not been a disappointment because of the round he got drafted in. He's just I'm at a place where I'm just like, yeah, man, it's about time for you. It's time to show, man. I'm tired of you talking. Just show, improve a little bit and stuff that you need to improve on. My level with him, I'm at about like a 6 with him. I'm at 8 with Dan, but just because of rewatching the preseason games and rewatching how bad he's looked in certain situations, and I think the thing that sticks in my craw is those consecutive holding penalties that he had in the same drive, which were, if you remember those plays, those are like big plays. Man. And I'm like, yo, you can't do that, so I've been disappointed in Dan Moore. That side to me is I have more of a worry on that side, that left side. And I guess when we get further down the depth chart, I'll talk about that, but that's all I got on that. I already talked about KG. And Trent Scott, I don't even know, I don't even remember him being in the game. So
yeah, he's number 64. So if you guys want to go take a peek this week, it ain't pretty. Yeah, Kendrick, nothing else to say, man. Mason Cole, in my opinion, so far, one of the better offensive linemen that we had. And even if you don't think he's been that great, well, I'm here to tell you, he's been one of the better ones. What I see out of him, again, without having the all 22, man, I can't really look how I want to. Now, hopefully I will have it because it's regular season. But what I noticed with him right away is he stays in the play, stays in the action. Definitely doesn't get pushed back the way Kendrick Green did. And have there been some plays where he's gotten, beat or pushed off the line? Sure, it happens to all linemen, but he stuck with it. I haven't seen any straight blow-ups. Maybe you guys have, but I haven't seen Kendrick Green moments with him. So at least that's an upgrade in itself. He's not hitting the ground. He's not getting blown up within 2 seconds he's in the quarterback's lap. So he's been decent. I won't say great, but from, again, TV tape is hard to really evaluate. I'm going to skip over right guard, and I'm going to come right back to it. Chooks is the other one. To me, Chooks has been 1A, 1B as far as him and Mason Cole. They've been the best two offensive linemen in my observation. By far. By far. Jesse Davis is the backup right tackle, and I actually did not remember him. I thought I had remembered seeing him, but come to find out, he just recently got to the Vikings. He was with Miami before that. So actually, I don't know much about him. I didn't really hear anybody in the local media say anything about the signing in terms of it being a good thing. So I don't know how good he is or isn't. I think he's 30 years old. I'm not as worried though because Chooks has been doing a good job at right tackle. I remember I posed the question last week, if this guy can play right tackle, is there any possibility that we would see Chooks at left tackle this season if it gets really bad with Dan Moore? That's something to keep an eye on. Because behind these guys, this is probably why I'm the most scared, man. Trent Scott and Jesse Davis are your backup tackles. Both are guys we know nothing, at least I don't, know nothing about them. And when you're an offensive lineman and you're a little bit older and you're a journeyman, that's kind of saying what your value is. So, I mean, maybe that's not always the case because you think about a guy like J.C. Hotzenauer who's serviceable. You think about guys like B.J. Finney that we had that did, but are these guys that? I don't know. It's just that if Dan Moore is who you're going in the season with, I don't feel good about it, man. And last but not least, man, this is in my thumbnail. Not really picking on him. It's just, I'll answer that question now, but that was my question in the title. What is your biggest concern going into week 1? It is the offensive line. I highlighted James Daniels because he's the guy who's making the most money, the biggest or bigger acquisition as far as free agency. And none of us have come away from this preseason saying how good he's played. I did see Alex Kazor did a breakdown of the Detroit game saying he's showed himself better. I have not watched that yet. I can't wait to watch it because they do have the all-22 perspective. So if there's a silver lining, it sounds like he showed improvement in that game. But for a guy that you pay like that, I really thought we weren't going to be too concerned about him. I thought we would be talking this preseason about left guard only. To be honest, I thought that's really all we were going to be talking about was who was going to win, Kendrick Green or Kevin Dotson. I thought Dan Moore would show more improvement, Mason Cole would be steady, and Chooks would continue to play well. That's what I thought we were going to be saying. But here we are looking at maybe only 2 positions that are playing decent. So, come on, James. I hope you are turning it around. You're the leader of the pack in terms of the money. So, yeah, man. We got to get after it. Yeah. You got anything on him?
Yeah, I think he played better in the Detroit game. I rewatched that game recently, and I think he kind of played better in that game. I agree with you on, as I said, to me, it's the left side that I'm really worried about. Yeah. Chooks has been, you could argue, he's been the best offensive lineman. And Mason Cole, one thing I like about him is that you never hear us talking about him making mistakes. So to me, that means you're doing great because we're not talking about you. And you're running the offense and you're doing the stuff you need to do. You're making the calls, and that's very important. The depth behind those offensive linemen is worrisome. But Dan Moore's a young player. I can't jump on Dan because he's young. Technically, I can't really jump on Kevin Dotson because he's young too. So I have to let that offensive line. This is just me. Everybody else can, whatever. I have to let them grow up. I can't really be on them like that because it's not a skill position, and skill position players usually acclimate easier to the NFL than offensive linemen do per se. Mm-hmm. So for me, I have to let them grow, see what they are. And similar to what Sim says, you can't really know a team until after week 8. I can't really judge this offensive line until maybe week 8. And if I see improvement, I'll be encouraged. If I don't, I won't be. And it's an area of concern for our team. But look, it's what we are, it's what we have right now. And all you can do is kind of like roll with it. And and I'm not one of those people that's going to jump on people like that. You have to give me a reason to jump on them. And right now I'm not going to jump on those guys. Dan Moore has struggled. I've been disappointed, but now we can see. his deficiencies are his deficiencies, the same deficiencies he had coming out of Texas A&M. And they've been highlighted against not even elite pass rushers, against good pass rushers. I mean, Detroit it didn't matter. You know what I mean? So it's just, in Detroit, I know Detroit got a rookie, but look, that kid can go.
He was eating.
You know what I mean? he was, you know what I mean? So that's not a joke. You know what I mean? And so, I'm with you on offensive line. I just have to let him grow. That's just my personal thing. I have to let him grow. And
yeah,
I'm not going to be overly critical. Just, to me, I'm with Sim. The best offensive linemen are on the right side. From center to right side, I'm cool with him. I think James will be okay. I agree with Sim. He's getting paid the most money. And part of that could be just acclimating to a new system, acclimating to your environment. And
your scheme.
Yeah, you know what I mean? And being comfortable in the system. And training camp that's a month, but it may take you, a minute. So I have to let it play out, and that's all we can go on. At this point, complaining and all that stuff is not going to help us, because to me, if they play well, I just think they will play well. And when they play well, don't give them praise at that moment, because you were already off of them. When you're off somebody, you have to stay off of, stay consistent. Yep. So it's all we can do as fans is not even hope, just think that it will get better in this new system. Because a lot of these cats, new offensive line coach, really the first year Canada gets to implement the system. So technically, he's kind of like a rookie running his offense. Let's see how it plays out. So that's all I got on that, man. I'm kind of positive, but I'm worried. That's it.
And you got to pay attention to the scheme difference. I keep hearing that, Pat Meyer teaches a specific scheme. Yeah. You have to believe in that. I mean, because listen, Daniels played well for the Bears, so it's not like he can't play. And the funny thing is what I was saying last week. You could tell, in my opinion, I think you could tell the difference between maybe the scheme not working properly, guys not on the same page, and a guy who just doesn't have it. Like, again, I hate to use Kendrick Green as an example, but he just don't. Right. He just don't have it. Right. We see the same problem last year, this year. Right. He cannot deal with power. And I don't know if you're seeing that type of issue per se with some of these guys. It might be a scheme thing. So that's why I can't wait to watch Alex's video, man, so I can see it from that perspective. So I will stay tuned for that. We got a donation. Appreciate it, man. Lee Sharp, round of applause. He says, I love the Pickett pick, but let's go Mitch for now. My question is, if Mitch struggles and the line's still struggling, do we leave Mitch out there out of fear of Kenny Pickett getting hurt? Good question. I'll give you my perspective, and then Kenyon will give you his. If Mitch is struggling, honestly, I don't know if you can play that game. This is the National Football League. If I'm going to believe the mantra, the standard is the standard. We don't live in our fears, as Tomlin says. No, you don't not play him in fear of not getting him hurt, because you know what? As a coach, I don't know if I could go with the mindset of I'm gonna let him play and let him get hurt. You know what I mean? Like, and I don't know. Maybe some coaches do that, but I'm just trying to use my own personality here. I don't want to sacrifice this dude, get him killed, just to not play this guy and get him hurt. Nah, I don't think I can coach like that. Now, you can go into the season. Maybe part of that is the reason why Tomlin and the crew is saying, look, Mitch is playing well. He's played relatively decent with this O-line. And there's been moments in the game where the O-line has given protection and all that. Maybe he's better equipped to deal with the challenges of the O-line. But if he struggles, we're not going to not play Kenny because we don't want him to get hurt. Listen, you played your Hall of Fame quarterback behind a line that might have been worse than this one. So that's my opinion. I would say no to that. I say I would play him if Mitch struggles. I would throw the young boy in there. Maybe he can run around a little more. But I wouldn't put him keep him on the bench out of fear of him getting hurt and allowing the veteran to get hurt. That's just me.
I would say it's situational. It depends on the game. Depends on how bad he's struggling. If it's a game that's winnable and he's struggling and you feel like he's the reason why you're in the situation you're in, maybe you do give Pickett a shot because maybe he can give you a burst of quick energy and get you the win or get you down the field or something like that. I think their approach on Kenny Pickett is when he's ready, he'll play. And they'll know when he's ready, and they'll make the assessment that it's time for him to play. I think that it's just situational. I think if Mr. Trubisky just plays like Mr. Trubisky, you can be in games a lot of times. But with a great defense, you can be in a game and a good running game. And to me, Mr. Trubisky's success only would depend more on Najee, what he does, because I think Najee's really the key. The running game is the key.
Absolutely.
To the whole thing. So if because you can't run play action if you can't run the ball. So, all those things factor in. You saw it in the preseason when they were blowing up run plays, how much more difficult it was. And you saw when Kenny they couldn't run, but Kenny could offer something that Mitch doesn't.
Yeah. Where
he can put the ball places that Mitch can't. He'll make that throw. And that's just a time thing. That's going to be situational. And so we'll see. To answer the question, I would say no. Like Sim, I would agree with that. But I just think it's going to be.
Yeah, it would be interesting, man, to see. Hopefully we're not having that discussion, but just wanted to read 55 Porter's comment. He says, and I'll paraphrase it. He says, all three quarterbacks will get injured behind this line. Ben will come out of retirement and he'll get injured. Then they're going to bring Duck, Goose back. He said, mark my words on this. That would be hilarious. Could y'all imagine a season like that where all the quarterbacks just get hurt and you got to bring in guys to play? Wow. Man, oh man.
I don't know why people always got to keep bringing up the folk hero Duck, who only played good for a series, and everybody. I mean, I don't know why I always got to hear that guy's name. It's like he's like this era's Bubby Brister. It's like we just got to give him credit. It's like, no, man, he wasn't good. That's why he's not on the Steelers. You know what I mean? He's not in the NFL. He's not in the league. So,
my man said, I'm out.
Come on, man.
Yeah.
Isn't he a backup in Canada? Last time I heard. You know what I'm saying? I think he's a backup in Canada. Come on, man.
Crazy. All right, guys, to round out the rest of the offense, I mean, this is pretty simple stuff. Freiermuth is your number one tight end. Gentry, Haywood, no surprise there. Najee Harris, Jaylen Warren. This is what we were all waiting to see, whether or not he was going to be the first man to spell Najee Harris, and he is. So, shout outs to Jaylen Warren. I had to give him an apology last week, man. Remember what I said some weeks ago? I won't even pay no attention to him. I said, I'd rather have a speedier guy. And
right.
That's what you get when you don't fully scout guys. He proved me wrong. A lot of people wrong. He was productive, and he earned his spot, and he will be the first man off the bench behind Najee. And Benny Snell, simply put, for you guys that don't understand why he's on the team, special teams, man. And Benny Snell, it's not like Benny Snell was a bum. I don't know why the backup running backs always get that pressure. Because people said it about James Conner, too, when he was the backup.
Yes.
Yes. I don't get why we do that. He's not that good, but he's a different style back. He runs hard. Benny Snell actually has some decent showings in preseason as a running back. But his special teams play is where he makes his hay. So, Derek Watt, we knew that. Mitch Trubisky, Kenny Pickett, Mason Rudolph, Chase Claypool, Steven Sims, George Pickens, Miles Boykin. So we'll flip it over to defense. Defensive tackle. this is primarily, just for those who may not know, this is primarily DTs for us are typically the guys who are going to play inside for the most part and sub, which obviously is going to be Cam Haywood. But then a lot of times they will slide someone who we might be listed at inside. And the nose tackle position is usually reserved for base. So you'll understand that as we read through this. D tackle, Cam Haywood, Isaiah Loudermilk, DeMarvin Leal. And I didn't even notice this when I looked at this earlier today, but as you can see, they have these guys sharing a set. That's interesting. That is interesting. Leal shows some flashes, man, in preseason. He shows that he has that pass rush capability. So I definitely think that we are going to see both of these guys spelling in sub package. I don't have any complaints. I think Loudermilk was showing last year that he has some potential. We'll see how he plays, but I think Leal did enough to get a helmet. Defensive end, Larry Ogunjobi and Chris Wormley. Now, pay attention to the fact that he is the first DN. Base defense, that means he will be opposite D tackle, who will be playing DN in Cam Haywood. So when we're in a 3-4, it's going to be Cam.
Base.
Yep, base defense, Cam, Alu, and then Ogunjobi. And then Chris Wormley is second in command to him. Nose tackle, Tyson Alualu, Montravius Adams is second man. TJ Watt is the left outside linebacker. Malik Reed is the backup, but he's basically going to be the third man to him and Alex Highsmith. And look who we have starting at inside backer. Devin Bush. Hey, man. Now, here's what's interesting. You know the Steelers have the, what do they call it? The Mac and the Buck, right?
Right.
Again, this is all interchangeable, but if I didn't know better and I was looking at this the way it's presented, it's interesting that Mark Robinson is Miles Jack's backup and not Spillane. I would think that would be Spillane. If you want to say that the inside guy would literally replace Jack for a down. You would think it would be the next guy that's more the quote-unquote field general. Out of those two right now, I would say that would be Robert Spillane, not Mark Robinson.
But Spillane will be third. It doesn't matter because what you're saying is Spillane can play both positions. So Spillane, so Spillane would essentially be the third guy, and Mark Robinson would be the fourth guy. And if you're saying Mac and Buck, that's really just depends on who's going to call the defense.
Yep.
And base. So if you're keeping Devin Bush as your Mac, and you're having Miles Jack as the Buck, or if you interchange them, depending on who's going to call the plays, Spillane would be behind Bush. He's Bush's backup essentially. But he can play both positions. But I do understand why they have Mark Robinson. I don't know if we're going to see. Let's be honest. I don't think we're going to see Mark Robinson. Really?
Yeah, we might not.
So, yeah, I'm not.
And you said something key that made me think too. Remember what they said in preseason? Bush, or let's call him 55 for now. 55, he was calling the defense.
Yeah.
So, you know what I mean? So in that case, then Spillane would be the next up behind him. Because, I think Jack could call it, but, you know how the Steelers do a lot of times with tenure.
Right.
They probably feel more comfortable with Bush. And, Jack will probably eventually take that role at some point. But, it's going to be very interesting to see that three-man rotation. What I'm going to be looking for the most is how much the third man is playing. If Bush starts the game and then all of a sudden in the second quarter, we only seeing Spillane and Jack.
Right.
That's going to tell us a lot.
I think in nickel will be a tail. We're our nickel, that would be a tail. I think that I just think that rotation of Bush, Spillane and Jack will be, you'll see that in the game a lot. And I think what you saw in the preseason was just kind of like a snippet of it. But you're going to see it a lot because I think the Steelers have seen enough of Bush, and because people always say, well, he just has to get this back, and I'm like, it's not physical with him anymore. Now it's just about you're not playing as aggressive as you were. And to comment on the comment you made earlier, DeMar Leal has more in his pass rush bag than all those defensive linemen.
Yeah,
that's why he's going to play. I mean, if you just look at his tape when he was in college and you saw him in the NFL and he's gained weight, he still has the same bag. He still has the same moves. He has the over/under, the up and under. He can get, he can throw you away. He has all that stuff. Loudermilk can't do that. He can't. He's not coming. He didn't come in the league like that. Leal's coming in the league like that, and I think Leal is gonna. I'm just saying he's gonna eat away at people's playing time. He's gonna get some run because he's been pleasantly a pleasant surprise, and that's somebody that when we talked about him some. He was a 5-star kid that just didn't play well, or people thought he was undersized. Remember coming out, they say he was undersized. You don't know he's gonna play him. He's a tweener. Hey man, Marvin got some stuff, man. I'm actually excited to see him play. So yeah, that's how I feel about that. I mean, look, Mark Robinson gonna take him a minute. We're surprised with Mark Robinson, man. He played well. He just needs a little bit more seasoning, man. That might take him a year, but he just needs a little bit more. Because he's a liability. He's still a liability in coverage.
Oh yeah.
You put him in coverage, it's just like no. So but running to the ball, blowing up plays. Oh yeah.
And no disrespect, man, but I don't care to ever see Marcus Allen playing as an inside backer in game. He just doesn't offer you much. I mean, we've seen it a couple times, and I think he plays hard, but nah, he's not gonna, in my opinion, unless he just gets out there and hit the ground running, he's not gonna play much. He probably won't play better than Bush or Spillane.
Yeah.
As an inside backer, so I'm glad to see that he's the fifth man. Alex Highsmith and Jameer Jones. That is an interesting one. Jameer Jones finds his way back to Pittsburgh. And I didn't even realize this until I heard it being reported that we sure enough did release him in lieu of Tuska. And then this year is the opposite way. That's just crazy. I don't know. I don't know what to make of that, but we'll see. Hopefully Malik Reed does enough to where it's really more so a 3-man rotation. Yeah. So we'll see how that goes. I guess the only last interesting thing here, I mean, obviously we know who's the free safety is. Minka, Trey Norwood behind him, Terrell Edmonds, and then Miles Killebrew behind him. But here's where it got a little interesting today when me and Kenyon and Tony discussed it. You have Akello, who's the outside starting cornerback, right? Left side. And Cam Sutton is the right side outside corner. Again, this would be base. 3-4 defense, 2 corners. That's interesting because I sure enough would have thought it would have been Levi Wallace. Now, in preseason, we've seen Levi play outside and a little bit in the slot. My preference would be, just because I still feel the same way I felt last year, I don't think Cam is that great on the outside. I'd rather him be in the slot. So maybe this is just kind of fool's gold, basically saying, and maybe they do honestly, you know what, now that I think about it out loud, Kenyon, if we're in a base, we might be anticipating a run. They probably do prefer the way Cam Sutton has played as a tackler and things like that in a base situation. And then more than likely when we're in nickel, we're going to flip him inside and Wallace would be the outside on the left, the right outside cornerback. So that's probably how it's going to go. And the more I think about it.
I'm cool with everything. I mean, Sim and I have talked about this numerous times about Cam Sutton. I think last year was just him playing on the outside, getting on the island against certain receivers, man. It was just And I think Cam Sutton is very smart. I think he plays with anticipation. I think his IQ is great. He doesn't have some of the traits that when you go up against somebody like a Jamar Chase or somebody like, you know what I mean? Somebody that it just doesn't help. It doesn't work. You can't position yourself for those type of guys. So, and Sunday we'll see this because Cincinnati has 3 receivers that can kill you. And you know, and in a lot of ways we mirror them. If you think about it, you have Deontay, Claypool, and Pickens, and they all, you know what I mean, it's the same type of thing. You know, that same type of issue you're going to have. And I think that Cam Sutton is good, and I would like to see him in the slot. But then I guess Sutton and Arthur Millette would get a lot of slot situations. Yeah. As well as Trey Norwood in certain situations. I think the injury hurts. You know what I mean? The injury hurts us. Casey hurts us. But I think the Steelers have played that way before, so they'll be okay in that way. And then when Casey come back, that'll be great. So, you know, for me, it's just more like, you know, I'm cool with it. I thought Levi Wallace would start, but as Thomas said today, there's always 3 cornerbacks starting in today's NFL. So essentially, Levi is starting, and you know, more excited to see what Akilla Witherspoon can he improve on his last season at the end of the season played, and see if he can get better. And you know, he's a big corner, and I like that. And to me, it's just if he plays well, you know, then it would dictate what they were about in the draft, you know, for trying to get another cornerback to replace somebody. You know what I mean? You know what I mean? And try to add, I mean, they'll always add DBs, but you know what I'm saying? But when you scouting people, you just like, as I told Sim, like I was scouting Joey Porter Jr. the other day. If I'm Pittsburgh, I take that kid. You know what I mean? I know he has the bloodlines to play for us, but he is shut down corner, and he's 6'2". And I'm taking that guy, and he'll hit you. He's at Penn State. You know what I mean? So, you know, he'll be there by the time we pick, wherever we pick. You know what I mean? So, but I like the cornerback so far, and really surprised that Arthur Millette has played. To be honest, I thought he'd be off the team. Really surprised that he played that well. So, I'm actually, as I told you earlier, I'm not as down on the DB. To me, I'm not down on the defensive backs. I'm actually up on them. I think they're going to be a pleasant surprise. So, you know, I'm with it.
And it is interesting, as you can see, guys, I highlighted it for you. Marlette is listed as the quote-unquote only nickel. So I do wonder, are we going to have a Mike Hilton, Cam Sutton situation in Hilton's last year? Are we going to see Sutton more so when we expected a pass, have him in the nickel, or Wallace? Are we going to see Marlette in nickel when we think it could be a run? You know what I mean? Like if it's like 3rd and 5 or something like it is going to be interesting. Like Kenya said, man, Marlette has definitely done some things. I won't say he's the best cover guy, but he has been active. In the time that we've seen him play, he definitely reminded me a little bit of what we were getting from Mike Hilton. Maybe not as good as Mike Hilton, but yeah, I'm gonna keep an eye on that rotation and see how they're gonna handle that. We had a donation, so let's recognize it. Black Rain, round of applause, appreciate it. Black Rain says, concerned about Highsmith, namely availability and impact production. Proven year for him, been missing Bud's pressure and edge setting ability opposite TJ Watt. Well, one thing I would say really quick, and I'll definitely throw it to Kenyon. Well, you know, let me get this off the screen. Y'all already know who the specialists are. Gunner, kick returner, punt returner, Kuntz, the long snapper, Presley Harvin, Chris Boswell. So that is your depth chart. We missed Bud's pressure for 2 seasons. I might even say a season and a half. He played just well enough in his contract year for us to give him the tag. And, the 5th-year option. and then he played pretty good in that year. But I don't want us to, this happens quite often. A lot of people will always refer back to Bud, but we got to remember there was a time when Bud wasn't doing much. I counted about 3 years where he wasn't really effective. Now, to kind of tie this together with Kevin Dotson, I was going to say this earlier. Are we going to see a Bud Dupree situation? Has the injuries affected Kevin Dotson, and this year he's going to, have one of those seasons? That's wishful thinking, but we'll see. But yeah, thank you for your donation, man. I appreciate that. But Kenyon, what are your thoughts on the Highsmith part? Because he might have a point in terms of possible availability, because it's been 2 seasons now that he's been dealing with something.
Well, Bud was dealing with something.
Yeah.
So what are you actually saying? Look, Bud didn't get, the reason why Bud got his name 48. The reason why I was calling him 48 is because he wasn't there. It's because he was always hurt. It's because he wasn't productive. That's the reason why he got his name. You know what I mean? I didn't give him his name out of spite. I gave him his name because that's just what happened. So those 3 years he played for us, those years, he had one good year. He literally had one good year. And I always find it interesting what people choose to remember. I choose to remember the totality of when you played for us, when you played. So if you played for us for 5 years, and 4 of those 5 years, you didn't play well, and the way you're going by his last impression, I'm going by his whole impression. When he walked in the house, when your daughter tried to introduce you to him, your first reaction when you saw him walk in the crib. And that was my first reaction. You know what I mean? That's why he got 48. He got that name, that number, because he wasn't productive. So for everything that Bud did that was good, his flaws were worse than anything he did good. So if he set the edge, that's great. Alex Highsmith has been nicked up 2 years, but he's played. When he does play, he's been productive, and he still has a high ceiling. And the problem is you're putting both these guys up against the guy on the other side who has been a stud the whole time he's been on the Steelers.
Yeah.
And that's unfair to them in a lot of ways. You're not TJ. You know what I mean? So the reality is that I like Alex Highsmith because I think he offers more versatility in those situations than Bud did. And Bud did things better than Highsmith. I think Highsmith does things better than Bud. So I don't think it's a proving year for Highsmith. I just think he just needs to play. Availability is the best ability. And if he plays, we'll see. And you have two guys. If he doesn't play, we got an issue. But I'm betting on he'll play. He'll be there and he'll be okay. He was at practice today. He's ready to go. I don't care if he doesn't play in the preseason. I don't care if he doesn't. He doesn't have to prove anything to us at this point. Yeah. We need him to be there week 1. So
rush the passer.
That's it. To do. That's it. So just do your job and we'll be good. But yeah, I don't see I'm gonna be honest with you. Now, the comment was you miss Bud. Man, I haven't thought about that guy, man, since he left, man. Keep it real, keep it 100. I haven't even thought about him. Like, as soon as he left, I was off him. So it's and let's keep it 100. He's been hurt for Tennessee.
Yeah. Didn't he just get arrested or something too?
You know what I'm saying? He's been hurt for Tennessee. So,
man.
You could argue he's an Anthony Davis of the NFL. You know what I'm saying? But my man walk on the field, just step in the grass wrong, twist an ankle, twist a knee. You know what I mean? He's like Anthony Davis. Anthony Davis run out of court, just slip on spit. He hurt.
Man.
He out 20 games. You know what I'm saying?
Poor Anthony Davis. Street clothes.
Same thing. Street clothes. You know what I'm saying? It's the same thing. So I don't miss him at all. And I think the Steelers will get a pass rusher next year. They're always going to add to that room, and they'll get somebody. And I'm cool with Highsmith. I think he still has high upside. So
I do.
I'm cool.
And I mean, y'all gonna go crazy if y'all hear me say this. Highsmith actually had something in his toolbox that TJ didn't have. And TJ borrowed a little bit of it last year.
He said it. TJ said he stole it. He said he stole it.
Highsmith got some potential, man. Listen, I'm not saying he's gonna be TJ.
No.
TJ is just a dog. I mean, his motor, just his motor. I mean, he plays the run. He heck of a pass rusher. He can show power. He can dip. I seen him hit the little ghost action a little bit in preseason, and the spin. And see, TJ didn't have that ghost move.
That was not in his bag.
Did not have it. And I might even say Alex Highsmith's spin is faster than TJ's.
Yeah, Highsmith's spin is better than TJ's.
Yep.
I mean, if you're going to compare them, yeah, his spin is better because he had it in college. I mean, we were watching that. I mean, I can recall you sending me texts like this play right here. Look at this play, and he was spinning. We were like, yo, he already has that. He's walking in the league with that. So TJ had to learn that move, and and TJ's very effective at it.
Yeah. And
he can master stuff. But Highsmith is. Yeah, he
got
that
some tools, man.
That ghost move and that spin, he has that. I mean, it's not Dwight Freeney, but he has it. You know what I mean? That's where I can put it.
Yeah, and TJ pulled it off too. And when we saw it in the preseason, I said, "Oh, where'd you get that?" But that's cool because, like I said, TJ is just—he came in. Think about his first game. The man came in balling. He's got nothing but better and better and better. And I think, a huge part of it outside of his skill, that motor. The dude don't stop, man. He don't stop. And got just as many batted balls as, between him and Cam Hayward, you getting one or two of them a game. And they got everybody doing it now. Alo's getting it. Like, come on, man.
DeMarvin Leal had two.
Yep.
The whole team, they're teaching that. They're teaching that now. They're like, because you're not going to get there because some of those quarterbacks get it out so fast that you just have to disrupt passing lane, and that's smart. So
yeah. But just like my man Walter said, he's got to stay on the field, man. That's it.
I agree.
Stay on the field.
Downfield.
I think he had a better season last year. So, yeah, he still has tremendous upside.
Yeah.
And, if you can get it to where, it's hard to man him one-on-one and you can't leave TJ one. It's funny, guys. Like, and this is the perfect way to, I guess to go ahead and wrap the show up. Now you see how important, and again, who knows if EA Sports is listening, but I've been saying this for years when I give the Madden feedback. The trenches. Yeah. The trenches are so important because a team like ours that may not be the Super Bowl champs in people's eyes right now, but pressure can change everything. If you got two dudes on the outside that can provide consistent pressure, that allows Austin and Tomlin and Flores to do many more things in coverage. Many things. And that just makes you a whole different team, man, when you can't hold the ball for 3 seconds. And if your defense can keep you in the game like that, that pressure causes turnovers. That pressure gets you off the field in key situations, situational downs. You never know. That's why I don't ever want to count the team out. I'm a realist and I look at the team and say, I don't know, man, it's a tough AFC. But all it takes, pressure.
Yeah.
All it takes is consistent pressure, and that takes your team from here to there. So we'll see. I do think it's going to be a tough road, though, but we'll see, man. If those guys can stay healthy, again, I think some of the guys that's really going to help us out is Ogunjobi, Miles Jack.
Yep.
Man, they're going to help us out tremendously. So we shall see. But that's all I got, guys. Appreciate everybody tuning in. Next week will be the show again where phone calls will be happening. More than likely, I will do a pregame show this week. It'll be light because, there's no need of trying to scout. What am I looking at? I'm not going to look at a last year game. But I'll just give some quick thoughts on what I think we're going to have to do to win the game. I mean, I think it's going to be obvious. Defense got to keep a lid on it. And maybe I'll look at their tune-up game. Maybe, if the starters were playing, just to kind of see if I notice anything different that the Bengals are doing.
Burrow didn't play, though.
At all?
Nah.
I see. No point.
It's like no reason to watch him.
Yeah.
Without Burrow.
So yeah, folks, we appreciate y'all, man. My Tuesday shows have to be a little shorter now. Like even right now, I got to get up out of here, man, because I got to go right back to DC. Oh, guys, I didn't even complain to y'all today, but I'll tell y'all really quick. It took me 3 hours to get to work today. I woke up, pouring down raining. And if anybody has ever lived in the DMV area, I'm not even going to say what that means, because those who've lived there knows what I'm talking about. Dog, any type of precipitation, a drizzle, it's gridlock. So from where I travel from, through PA, through Baltimore, down into DC, it was ridiculous. 3 hours to get to work. Yeah, what a day I had. And I still got a couple little things to do tonight before I go to sleep to go back in the morning. But whatever. But all right, man. Oh, round of applause to our man Luis donation. He says the team voting for Mitch as a captain shows confidence in him. Yeah, I mean, I think, who was that said it today? I don't think it was Tomlin. Maybe he did. He might have said it in so many words. If you really pay attention, man, to or maybe it was Bob Papiani. If you pay attention to what the guys were saying, like everybody was talking Mitch. That's not a slight to Kenny, but everybody was talking Mitch. Remember we said that when they brought him in, Mitch. Nobody was talking Mason before that. And I think the team already told you who they're rallying behind. Everybody knows who the starter was going to be. Kenny Pickett knew. Let's not act like that, we're the last to find out. No. Kenny Pickett, I'm sure, knows he's the future. He knows that the Steelers brought in a veteran quarterback, and what they're trying to do with him is to see him improve and get to a point where they can hand him over the keys. I don't think nobody was surprised. I think even Mason Rudolph knew that if Kenny Pickett showed any type of decent play, he was going to very quickly be moved to the third spot. Because why would you have your future as the third string quarterback if he's played well? So, yeah, I think everybody knew, except for some of you guys that thought this was really an announcement. But I think the team does like him, man. He seems like a good guy.
I mean, he had to show leadership coming in, and I think Kenny Pickett knows that he's a guy in waiting. The metaphors are funny. He's like a guy in waiting, as Sim and I watch on Sunday nights. Same thing that's going on. You know what I'm saying? Except it's not too bored. You know what I mean? It's not too. You know what I mean? It's just he's just waiting. So I think Mitch is. To me, it's clean slate. Do what you got to do, and we'll see what happens. And at this point, all we can do is rally behind him, have faith, have some type of faith that he can get the job done, and not lose games for us in a lot of ways. And that's all we can do. Yeah. Because we're gonna need that veteran leadership.
This is an exciting time, man. Listen, as a Steelers fan, honestly, I know it. You hate to say it, but this is an exciting time. This is we have not seen this in 18 seasons or whatever it was. This is crazy. I'm excited to see what type of team they become over the next 2 to 3 years.
I agree.
New era. Yep. So I don't have super high expectations, so I could even say that to y'all tonight. I don't right now. I would like to see us win, of course. I would like to see us get to the playoffs, of course. Maybe win a game, of course. What if some fluke happens and I would be over the moon. But I'm not expecting any of that. I'm just watching to see what this team is going to become. I don't care if, I would hope not, but I don't care if Tomlin has his first losing season. Because at the end of the day, that don't mean that much. You know what I mean? I mean, what he has been is solidified. Even if he had 5 losing seasons from here on out, it still don't matter.
Yeah.
What he had, he's already done it for however many years. He's solidified. Whether you like it or not, he's going to the Hall. So, whatever happens from here happens. So, but all right, man, let me stop yapping. Let me get out of here. I'm going to say peace to my brother Kenyon here. Usually we chop it up after the show, man, but I got to run tonight. So I'm going to say peace to him on air like I do to everybody else. One thing I'm going to remind you, if you are new tonight, I saw a couple people did this, but hey, I don't know why it's not playing, but let me try it again. Yeah, it's not playing. I don't know. But all I was going to do is tell you, if you like what you saw, hit the like button. If you like the content, subscribe, and turn on your notifications. Until next time, stay safe. God bless. Good night. And like always, thank you for tuning in to Terrible Towel Tuesday.
See that?
Peace. Peace.